Every Last Bubble Must Pop. Written by Jason Carter Eaton and illustrated by Matt Rockefeller. It was a beautiful day, and Dewey was all alone blowing bubbles. You don't need a friend to blow bubbles. The best part of blowing bubbles is popping them. Isn't that the truth? I love popping bubbles. But no sooner had he said that than he just missed popping. The very last one. And that's a big bubble, too. Check out the size of that bubble. It caught a slight breeze, and he stood up so he could see where it was going. It was going up. So Dewey jumped up and down to try to reach it, but in almost no time at all, it was out of reach again. He'd need to jump higher. The backyard trampoline would do the trick. Almost. This was one elusive bubble. Thinking quickly, he climbed up on top of his jungle gym. Oh, good idea. And watched the bubble sailed right over him. This was going to be harder than he thought. Dewey quickly fetched a ladder and raced to the roof of his house. But the bubble was way, way past that already. He grabbed his telescope. I don't recommend children climbing on top of their house. At least not without adult supervision. There was a really tall building in town. Dewey hopped on his bike and rode like the wind. When he reached the building, he dove into the elevator and pressed the button, emerging moments later on the top floor. Just moments after the bubble, he'd need to get higher still. Just then, a man with a hot air balloon passed by. Dewey quickly explained the situation. And of course, the man wasted no time giving Dewey his balloon. After thanking him, Dewey was off. Well, that's very nice to just give somebody a balloon. He quickly gained on the bubble, but there must have been a crosswind because soon they were on opposite ends of the sky. Closer, thought Dewey. I have to get closer. The helicopter flying past would do nicely, and after some explaining and thinking, it was all his. The problem with helicopters, however, is that they can only go so high, and this bubble was showing no signs of slowing down. He definitely needs something with more oomph. I wonder if like a rocket, maybe. Like that biplane, which took some serious explaining and thinking, but was totally worth it. Up, up, up went the bubble, with Dewey and his biplane quickly closing the gap, though not quick enough for his taste. His taste was more suited to that F-16 fighter jet on the horizon. Of course, it took a ton of explaining and thinking, but in the end, Dewey knew it would pay off. The F-16 was a gorgeous aircraft, and zooming through the clouds was tremendously fun. But this wasn't about fun. This was about popping that bubble. Dewey pushed down hard on the throttle and soared upward toward the bubble. He knew F-16s could only go up to 50,000 feet, so he'd need to catch it before then. It was close. But not close enough. He'd never be able to catch it now. Not unless it just happened to be the day of the moon launch, which it did. Though as Dewey did his explaining and thinking, he knew this was probably his last chance to catch that bubble. But none of that mattered now. He was in the fastest, most powerful rocket in the world. There was no stopping him. Except the fact that the rocket stopped on the moon. Just keeps floating away. He just can't touch it. He's so close. He's on the moon and he's so close. Dewey returned home. He was sad that after all that effort, he'd never popped the bubble. That night, just before bed, he pulled out his telescope to see if he could spot his bubble. But something was blocking his view. A bubble, but not his. What bubble is that, maybe? So he popped it. Pop! Now Dewey could see where that bubble had come from and where his bubble had gone. The little alien pop, getting ready to pop his bubble. And he knew he'd found a friend. The alien popped his bubble. Pop. The end.